All right, let's talk about immigration right now and all the stuff that's going on around the world. Trump presidency, 3 weeks in, and I mean everything that's happening. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about all the deportations? And we could talk about the tariffs a little bit and what you think the benefits are for Americans and how do the things affect us directly and indirectly. Just I just want to know what your thoughts are on that situation. Let's start with immigration, ICE grabbing people up, and what's happening in the workforce.
Well, I'm gonna say Trump. I think Trump has a good idea with trying to like get us as Americans to get us more jobs because he knows a lot of jobs have been taken over
Hmm.
by immigrants that
Yes.
that the previous president let in. Now, I'm not saying that the people don't work, but the people that was already here in this country first are running out of options and jobs to make
Yes.
money to take care of their family. So I think what he's doing is he's just trying to balance everything out to help the people who are already legal citizens of this country first, and then force the people that are immigrants to work their way in.
Another side of that too, and I agree with what you said 1,000%. That's the way I feel about it as well. So, one thing, and see, all right, so you get rid of the immigrants, right? Now you got all these vacant positions, right? And how do you get the people who's not working? He pulls the rug out from under them. Let me explain what I mean. Um, like Section 8, he giving people like 2 years
Yeah,
because he feel like, and I don't necessarily disagree. I'm pretty sure it's going to be some
and the EBT.
exemptions. It's going to be some exemptions for
Yeah,
people
yeah,
who
yeah,
can't work, of course. You know what I mean? It's going to, and that'll fall on disability. I'm pretty sure if you ain't got no arms and no legs, you're not going to be in the
yeah. He'll make an
workforce.
exception
Yeah,
for that.
it's going to. Let's be realistic. This dude is not a monster. But what it's going to do is force people into these jobs.
Holding their feet to the fire.
Yeah. So now, but now you can't have that excuse that there's nowhere to work because now we
Yeah,
got all these vacant positions that need to be filled right away.
yeah,
Some may
yeah, yeah.
require some training or whatever. Some may require school, but these vacancies will get filled. And you got kids that's coming up in school. You understand what I'm saying? With no jobs now. I got a niece that graduated from John Hopkins. Nephews going to college. It's like where the jobs at?
Yeah.
Like the type of education they got, they're smarts. They get regular jobs. They should be somewhere
They should.
else.
They
But
went
we
to
keep
college for all
importing it.
those years.
Exactly.
They
We
should be
keep
able to get good
importing it
jobs.
with these different type of visas, and or we got other people coming in taking the little starter jobs from the kids, and these starter jobs that these kids will get, they learn the responsibility. They don't have anymore because you got grown ups filling the position forever.
So they end up going to college for all them years,
Mhm.
rack up a bunch of debt, and don't have a job to go to. Now they
Yeah.
got to pay all that debt back.
Yeah, and now they get behind. Their credit get messed up. They can't buy a vehicle because now they got behind on the payments, and they just
Student
yeah,
loan debt.
exactly. Exactly. That's why it was a
Hmm.
big thing last election. Um, throughout the election when they was talking about forgiving the student loans. You see what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
older people
because
who paid their student loans, they was offended because they had to pay theirs and they went through whatever they had to go through and struggled and managed their checkbook to as though they was able to pay for everything at some point. Now they looking at the kids like, nah, pay your own shit. But at the
yeah,
same time, it's not the same world. All the slots wasn't filled when they was out there. They was able to get the jobs that they needed to be able to pay
to
it.
be able to pay it. Yeah.
Granted, it's maybe some lazy or just holding back and whatever, wasting their money, whatever. But
Hmm.
ultimately, overall, everything was flooded everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
And
And now people here are being villainized for putting their country first, where they live first. And everybody claim they want to be here, but they have no allegiance to here. Because what we
they
see,
just came in over
yeah,
here.
they just waving their flags.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. And see, here's the thing. The collateral damage is innocent people. Innocence. Let me say what I mean by innocent. Let me explain what I mean by that. People who just trying to find a better life, make a better life for themselves. They may came over here across the border illegally, or they maybe they were seeking asylum. You know what I'm saying? They got to a sanctuary city like Chicago, New York, Maryland, whatever, and camped there. But the problem was with them, this with them followed everything else and it flooded the zone. It was fine at first. All right. So now, we just gotta create a pathway for citizenship. They talked about it. All the politicians talked about it. The people who came here illegally had kids. and they became citizens. You
Yeah.
understand under the 14th Amendment that was for the slaves, freedmen,
See,
or
like
whatever.
the main
Yeah,
problem is
but
they
none
don't
of
have.
them forced their elected officials to stop kicking the can down the road and actually make a pathway to citizenship for their parents. Now these same people who never been to their countries of origin for the most part, waving their flags of different countries in protest of the country because they sent their mom and dad home, but y'all never did none of their citizens yourselves to change the law.
Yeah, you
They
can only be
brag. Other people
mad at
bragged about
yourself for
becoming the
that.
minority, becoming the majority, and other groups here that's Americans becoming the minority. But on their way up to majority status, they never did anything when it came to voting and passing policies to get they keep their people here, and not just that, shut the
Mhm.
border. So, hey,
You can only
sorry,
be mad at yourself for that. Like I said, the main problem is there's not enough space and there's not enough jobs for everybody.
just
It's
not.
just a fact of
It ain't
life.
gonna be no place for nobody to come
Yeah.
to have a better life. Because the life of the people who made this place what it is turning to shit. I said
Yeah.
this on the last part. Like, yo, there's no way you should like these corporations and everything got so far out of hand that it's too expensive to live
Yeah.
everywhere. You gotta work 2 or 3 jobs.
Cost of living is
Yeah,
going up.
they killing us. And this man came right in there.
California, New York, they both high as hell. The
Think about
cost
and,
of living is
yeah,
ridiculous.
and who run it? Never mind. I ain't even trying to go that way. I could would have wore my other hat, my MAGA hat. I ain't trying to have it mad at me. But here's the thing. Like, the thing is this though, like, he came in and they were just kicking it, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna be great too. I'm gonna say it. I don't care who don't like it. It's gonna be great.
Mhm.
It is gonna be the best 4 years. It's gonna be stuff you don't like. It's stuff that I don't like.
Yeah.
But
There
the
ain't nobody
majority of the
perfect.
stuff, yeah, the majority of the stuff I like. I
But I
don't
would
really
say
like the
when he
guys.
was
I
in
don't like the
office,
Gaza situation, what he doing over
yeah.
there. But whatever, you gotta whatever. I
I
don't
said
like
we
that.
had decent amount of
But
jobs when he was in office. I'll give him that. We had jobs. Things were running okay. Not the best, but they were okay for what he was
yeah.
doing.
But see, all right, so the only argument people was making with that was like, well, that was from the previous administration and he was reaping the benefits of that. Then they were saying what Biden got because everything was messed up is because of him. They were saying it takes 4 years for you to see what or how everything played out after the dust settled. So every 4 years is a reflection of the 4 years before. And now what we are seeing, we seeing cause and effect now.
Yeah.
So this is the shit that he's talking about now, cutting um taxes on overtime and ultimately
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
rid of
yeah.
the federal income tax and replacing it with tariffs like other countries. At one time, our country did that. We wasn't always getting taxed. We did it based on goods and services. Like he's leveraging our buying power with the tariffs because everything is made somewhere else. Everything in here, for the
Yeah,
most part.
everything
You
is
see what I'm
made
saying?
somewhere else.
Everybody want to bring their product here to sell.
Mhm.
So he's using that leverage to as though we could keep all our money in our pocket. Now, whether you're a Democrat or Republican,
And within in the country too.
yes, you're going to love it.
We're gonna build the country, and what he's doing is he's trying to help the whole country
Yes,
in a monetary way with keeping the money inside.
man.
The flow, the
They
cycle.
all whispering, even talking about us even now getting a higher income tax. You got Doge, you got Elon Musk running through here ripping up shit. Um, um, the USAID shit is shut down. They was talking about all the different millions upon millions of dollars that we waste on all kinds of goofy ass research, like how long it takes toilet paper to dissolve in the toilet if you forget to flush. Like this,
That's dumb shit.
I mean,
It's,
it's a whole list. I
it's a
should have brought the list out.
misuse of resources that we don't need.
Yeah, millions of dollars for
Use
years,
that money for the schools, fix the roads,
man.
get
And
these kids into sports, get them out the fucking house, help the community, bring them up, and then you'll see, okay, you're helping us, not using it on bullshit.
And you know what you would think, right? They always talk about vote on your local elections, right? And they always say, worry about your local elections, da da da. That's where it really affect you, and they right. But when they are intermingled together. Hence, like when our mayor in Baltimore got elected, he started speaking the talking points from the top. I knew we was doomed. I thought he was one of us and he was going to fix shit because he understood the struggles coming from the same place, but he was just spewing the same shit. I'm like, oh, we in trouble. And that's how I knew it didn't matter. So you got to chop the head off for the body to fall. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say they even rob us. Think about all the local politicians, right? And what these people in the middle do, all of the legislation branch, I got a list, forgive me, but the Congress, the Senate, they the lawmakers, they write the laws, the president signing the law. If it's not constitutional, it go in front of the Supreme Court and they rule on it based on that, and that's what we gotta live with, blah, blah, blah. That's the way it worked, the three branches of the government for dummies. But I think what they have done, and this is why these people are rich, and this is why they are so upset about Elon going in their gut and everything. The way they wrote these laws, they found loopholes around the laws that they wrote, either to do insider trading on the stock market, to launder money into all these different things, and they take the money out of it, do those different things, whether it be through giving money back to donors, you know what I'm saying? Do that by letting them do the research or do the building or do the demolition, whatever it is, right? And now Trump is coming in looking at all of this stuff. Elon, a person, a billionaire, one of the richest men in the world who don't need nothing from nobody, but just here, boom. Look at all this. He's a businessman. Look at all this and tell me blah, blah, blah. And they just going through it, ripping, they found like billions of dollars in waste. And even you think about the situation in Ukraine, where we supposed to give them 200 billion. Zelensky over there talking about only got 75.
They just want more and more money.
Yeah, but I'm saying they was just robbing us. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
just letting it happen.
We got disasters in California, the wildfires.
Yeah.
We allow insurance companies.
The homeless.
We allow insurance companies to cancel fire insurance, right? We allow the government just to give. Remember, they were saying they was giving people $750 in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know that was a loan. They had to pay that back.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what they doing. This is what they doing.
They're not helping the people, then.
Yeah, but meanwhile, we just writing blank checks. We just signing it. Y'all filling the money,
handing out money
to any and everybody else, and let you owe some money for taxes.
To a country that don't care about us.
Yeah, but let you get that levy saying you owe taxes, and we're gonna levy your check. We're gonna garnish your wages.
Have to pay that money.
Yeah, or you end up in a federal, a medium security federal prison.
Yeah, they'll throw your ass in jail quick if you don't pay them taxes.
So I'm happy about what's happening. I know I'm not gonna like everything. I don't need no special thing that says, this is for the niggas. I just feel like it's gonna be a great 4 years. Another thing that people was talking about is the Department of Education. And everybody, I hate the fact that, hear me on this, and if you feel different, please just tell me how you feel. But because I just don't align with everybody when it comes to this topic. And they was talking about like the Department of Education, right? And all these different things, DEI, right? And all the scandals, even when they was cutting the USAID, right? When I open my phone, and we know they robbing people. But they use the black politicians, or they wouldn't be the first ones to go march down and be in front of the cameras like we the face of that bullshit. DEI is not synonymous with black person.
Most marketing. They're just trying to
once upon a time, white people felt white people was bad, that we needed affirmative action, right? A lot of stuff happened after slavery, Reconstruction, and we had to do the amendments and all these different things. So much stuff happened, right? We lived in a time. I don't think my company hired me because I was black. They hired me because
you had the
my
skill
resume.
set to
Exactly.
do the
It
job.
wasn't because we needed a black person to fill the slot. I'm not saying that it's not racist people out here, but every white person is not racist.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
You can't put them
It's not. It's not. You see what I'm saying? And when you call everything racist, it just flood the zone in a sense, because now it's like crying wolf.
It creates a victim mindset.
Yeah. But it's not to say, but whatever. But
I said it does exist, but
it's not
every
everything.
time something bad
everything
happens
is
to
not
you,
that. Sometimes you just
can't
need to
just cry
stop
out
coming to
racist.
work late every time. That's why you got fired, and they warned you, and then you get fired. You cry, whatever. But what I'm saying is, I hate when the politicians show up and make us be the face of all that handout shit. Like we ain't out here fucking busting our ass. Like we ain't out here getting it on our own merit. Like we ain't showing up for work every day on time. Like we ain't been doing this shit for 20, 25 years. And that's before they even put the 3 letters together, DEI.
Mm.
And now you could let people that want to be bigots use that and say, hey, look, that's DEI. You've been doing this shit longer than this motherfucker was born.
Real shit.
But then you got these politicians, the black ones, the ambulance chasers want to jump out in front of that shit and make that shit us. No, I'm offended. I'm offended. I'm offended by that. You know what I'm saying? And then we protesting all these things and we not really becoming fully educated what all these things mean and how him pulling all that shit out and how companies implemented DEI and what it really meant. And when you looked at what that company implementation of DEI, who they hired versus who they didn't, that shit ain't had nothing to do with us. It's still always been the same for us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, always.
So the education thing, he talking about, you know how like with elementary schools, at least in Maryland, you can't send your kid to any school you want to send your kid to, right? You can't. So it gotta
be around within your neighborhood.
Your zone. It has to be a zone school. Now imagine that got changed where you can send you can send your kid to school across town, right? To a really good school with got really good grades, really good teachers. You get to send your kid. You live over East Baltimore. You get to send your kid to this great school. As long as you can get them there every day on time. But your kid can go there first come first serve. Your kid is there. Your kid get the education that your kid would have never got beforehand.
In a school that there was near the neighborhood that was
with falling down,
spectrum.
Water leaking from the ceiling, you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff.
Maintenance
they robbing stuff because it's based on the property taxes of the area. So the school ain't gonna have a whole lot of resources. And the money that the federal government they give to the state and they rob and they give to the city, and the city fucking funnel it into their own pockets, and they never reach the fucking kids.
Yeah, the kids suffer.
You see what I'm saying? So like now we getting rid of all of that shit, right? Now it's gonna be solely based on you. And the state's gotta fucking step their game up when it comes to these schools. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a good thing. I get all that, no disrespect to how people go to bed, but it ain't got nothing to do with school.
Yeah.
How people love, good for them. It don't have nothing to do with school. Home, for the most part, the kids gonna act the way they act. They're gonna get their social cues from each other. But we don't need all the other shit in there. Let these kids learn. Why they teaching your kid about putting condoms on bananas, putting 2 bananas together and say this is that.
Teaching them that
whatever.
Shit as a child.
Exactly. While the other kids,
uncalled for.
While the other
let
kids,
them kids grow up and let them be kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the coming of age arrives, then you can teach them that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about any of that shit until I was in high school.
Right.
But they learned all this in elementary school. So it's done by design. Y'all want them to be dysfunctional and delusional.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, though, while they teaching them that, the other schools are really teaching. And these kids graduate at the same time, but one group with less information because they was dicking around in it.
Then they can't find a job and they can't work.
They behind.
Shit. They don't know anything. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
So
they're going to be on the street and then they start begging for money.
Yeah.
And that entitlement comes back.
And all these things tying together with that, the begging for money, not being able to get a job because the Democrats flooded the zone with illegals. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we sending them home. We're going to open the floodgates when it comes to the schools and make it even the playing field where the kids could go to different schools. And if they good enough, they apply themselves, guess what'll happen? They'll be great. I think that's great. And I think that's the ultimate goal. The goal is not to make schools fail. It's to make schools work harder to do what they got to do to succeed. Because what we've been doing all this time haven't been working. Why can't none of the kids read?
They the next generation of the workforce. So if they don't know how to read and write and do anything, it comes to physical
that
labor.
means we
gonna do?
That means the reason behind it is they want us to believe what they tell us. That's all. And they want us to act on emotion. Everything is feelings.
Yeah,
and all that
Over
shit.
facts.
A bunch of dumb motherfuckers that operate on feelings. Hence the shit that go on out in the streets with all the killing. But they want to take the killing out and have adults running around, don't know what they front from their back.
Bitch made niggas that run off emotions. That's all it is.
But they trying to turn the
guns
whole
out.
But they trying to minus the guns. They trying to turn the whole American population into that. Take controllers. They don't want thinkers.
Or throw them all in jail. because
Hmm.
that's another industry
Yes.
with money. They want you to go to jail. It's all about money. They're gonna keep building more and more prisons. Throw
Hmm.
your ass right up in there. Come on in there. You can't fight. You shoot. You're going to the pen.
Hmm.
Less someone less to work to be a productive citizen. But now when you're in jail, your ass gonna be working for free. They're
Hmm.
not gonna pay you, and you have to work or they beat you.
Speaking of jail, you segue me into another subtopic of the main topic. Trump also said about sending people to El Salvador or foreign countries that are actually house our criminals of heinous crimes.
Oh
Now,
wow.
I was just the day waiting for you. I fell asleep, and I think we might. Matter of fact, maybe next week when we sit down, we'll do a pod talk. We'll do a reaction to that. But it's this prison in El Salvador
Yeah.
where these motherfuckers don't in their 20 years they don't even get no visits. Like it's like one of the biggest prisons in the Americas, and
Yeah.
like they got phone jammers so many kilometers away from the prison, like 19 guard towers. Like it's crazy. They
High
make
maximum security
yo,
shit.
dude. They wait. They be yo. But anyway, if this
Makes
feel
you
like
makes you
if that
think
was
about
if that was the consequence,
yeah.
if that was the consequence for a lot of the crimes. Now, a lot of people's like, that's heinous, that's inhumane, blah, blah, blah. People,
That's
the tree huggers jump right in front of that.
yeah.
But that is a real deterrent.
It's a punishment. So if you act a
Your people might
fool
not be able to
and
see you or talk to you on the phone.
yeah,
And you in there with MS-13 and all these other different
will
gangs.
make you really rethink about your decisions and choices before
Me-
you act.
Meanwhile, now prison culture is this. Everybody got a cell phone. I just opened my phone. They showed me young NBA young boy just got in Alabama in a prison. They show him somebody on the cell block, him walking on the tier. So prison now is dudes doing TikToks and all the
Yeah.
dances. They got
I'm
the
like,
phones. They
I've
cooking
noticed
on the
that.
steps. It's like, yo,
But how are they
not-
making these videos? And y'all niggas got cell phones.
that's
It
what I'm
has to be.
saying. So if
It
you go
wasn't like
there,
that back in the day.
people going there sewing clothes, making clothes out of the prison sheets and shit like that, and they just chilling, and people think that's what it
They
is.
try to make it seem like it's cool to go to prison, like it's a rite of passage.
It's not going to be like that when they're in El Salvador.
They're gonna take all that shit away from you. Then you're gonna be left with nothing. And in them third world countries, them living conditions are horrible. You're gonna wish you had stayed in America, the first world country, with all your privileges. They're gonna take it all away from